Architecture at its best changes people's lives for the better. It's, I think, the very richest of all the art forms because it is an art that you can go inside of and be surrounded by and live with. It's not just a moment to listen to this or a moment to look at that, but it's like it envelops you. When I was a kid, I loved to draw. And I entered contests when I was a kid and won several contests for different kinds of art. So yeah, I was always really interested in art, and I thought maybe I would be a commercial artist, but I sort of somehow veered away from that. I had a vague interest even when I was in high school to study architecture. But in college, I went junior year abroad to Paris and traveled some in Europe and just saw exquisite, wonderful buildings of all sorts. And I think that's what really piqued my interest. And part of the reason that I felt like I could be an architect, my father was an aeronautical engineer, and I like math. I felt like I had inherited skills that would be important for me, and my parents uncomplainingly paid for me to go to a private architecture school, which I'm forever grateful to them for doing. I felt like a pioneer, frankly, being a woman going into architecture. It was 1967 that I started graduate architecture. Typically, women are deflected from design and architecture, and I think it's changing, fortunately, but in the old days, women were often sort of steered into interior design or administration or something else that was not actually designing buildings. But basically, it's been the right career for me, and I've really enjoyed it. I think each architect has his or her own style, and I think so much of how I see the world is almost something I was born with. For me, regardless of what the project is, whether it's a remodel or a new building or even landscape or whatever, I'm looking for something that is simple, that's elegant, that has integrity, that has natural light, that will be a good backdrop for living. It doesn't have to be flashy or showy, but it needs to have integrity and be beautiful. Someone said once that good architecture makes you feel better about yourself. And to interpret that, it's like you live in or even just walk into a building and your sense of dignity, of possibilities, of who you are, of what you can do, is elevated by your surroundings. Architecture is really important. Where you live, where you work, where you go to school, where you walk your dog, all these things have a big impact on you. And I think having integrity as an architect, for me, is critically important. So, I've told clients, no, I just can't design that, but not often. Usually what they want, I can find a way to give them what they want in a way that seems good to me and has integrity.